So let me start with you, Frank, and I just wondered if you might tell us the vision behind the decision to move and our new space.
I'm happy to do that. So, of course, the Energy Center's mission is to advance energy efficiency, and that's using conventional technologies and new technologies. And we have a large part of our business is focused on helping other entities achieve that same mission. So we felt it essential that we make the decision to upgrade the facilities that we've been in for quite a number of years here, and that included moving to this new building that's being built at on University Row. The building is going to feature not only the fact that it'll be LEED certified, but it'll have some new technologies that Scott can elaborate on as it relates to geothermal systems. We'll have some state-of-the-art HVAC within the space, lighting technologies and control methods that we want to be able to use to demonstrate to other parties that we deal with on a day-in-day out basis to advance the cause of energy efficiency.
Great, thanks, Frank. And Scott, I would like you to elaborate a little bit on the HVAC and daylighting technologies in particular.
Yeah, sure. We looked at a lot of different technologies for this building to improve energy efficiency. We're not only a tenant, we're also the energy consultant for the builder and owner of the building. And so we've looked at technologies not only for them, but for our space as well. Everything from improving the passive shell of the building and the way it's constructed to more active technologies, which are the ones you're referring to. Those being the HVAC system and daylighting controls. The HVAC system in this case is a combination of two distinct technologies, geothermal or ground source heat pumps and VRF or variable refrigerant flow. It kind of takes the best pieces of those two technologies and marries them together. It's a fairly new concept to put those two together. This is going to be one of the first couple buildings like this in the state. I do know of one or two others, but we're talking something that's fairly new. But the pieces of it have been around for a while. So it's not that we're trying something that is going to be so sophisticated that it may not work out, or it's not applicable to the larger market. We feel that this is something that's been tested and will work, and is something we can recommend to our clients. The variable, to touch on each piece a little bit more, the ground source system, or geothermal, which is a little bit more mainstream. Well, I'm sure a lot of our viewers have heard of this system. It involves circulating fluid throughout the deep earth, and the deep earth in Wisconsin is at a pretty constant 50 degrees, which in the winter is enough to provide some heat to the space, and in the summer is a great cool source to dump our heat to. So that actually provides not only a heat source and sink, but some amount of thermal storage for the building. And that all lies outside the building in the ground. That is tied to what's inside the building, which is variable refrigerant flow. Some HVAC systems use air to move heating and cooling throughout the building. You heat air and move that, or you cool air down and move that around. Some buildings have improved upon that and use water to move heat to and from spaces. This takes that another step further and actually uses refrigerant, which is an even more concentrated heat-carrying substance to move heat to and from zones. So we're taking heat to and from our zones and moving it using only refrigerant to our geothermal field, where we're extracting and rejecting heat from the ground. That's the HVAC system. In our space in particular, so that HVAC system will serve the entire building. In our space in particular, we've focused on the piece that we have the most control over as a tenant, and that is lighting. And there, we feel that it's best to simply not have the lights on at all during most of the year. In that way, we have designed an efficient lighting system, but how efficient that lighting system is actually much less critical, because we plan to have it off most of the year by paying a lot of attention to how we lay out our space, how we lay out the fixtures, and orient ourselves around the windows so that we can actually use natural daylight for lighting 90+% of the time.
Wonderful. Anything else you'd like to mention before we sign off?
I just mentioned one last thing. So all of these technologies that Scott has mentioned are all technologies that, while in some respects new, they are all relatively easy to implement for anyone that is really focused on achieving high degree of energy efficiency. And that's, in a manner of speaking, how we want to sort of walk the talk of what energy efficiency is all about, both from a cost standpoint and from the impact on the environment. So I think we're doing all those things as well as can be done, as cost effectively as can be done.
Great.
Exactly.
Well, thank you very much, Frank, and thank you, Scott, and thank you all for tuning in.
Thank
See you
you.
next time.
Thank you.